We've got ones that can see. Welcome, everybody, to today's show. Have you ever heard this story about Microsoft employees who are claiming that Microsoft is blocking emails that are being sent out using words such as Gaza, Palestine, or genocide? Well, it's important to pay attention to it because this is the transition that we're going to see. And this is exactly what's done in China. China has what's called the Great Firewall, which is an AI firewall, which is all about censorship. If civilians send out text messages with certain words in it, certain words that the government has put into an algorithm that they deem criticism of themselves or the Communist Party, these emails just bounce. These text messages just bounce. And that's what the future looks like. The future of communications. Remember, they start tearing down the post office, which is something that they're talking about doing. Less days of being able to send mail that way, drone deliveries. And then your communication is strictly on the internet, strictly via cell phone, strictly on FaceTime. Well, when you start using certain words, it'll cut off certain calls. It'll cut off certain emails. It'll bounce them. It'll block them. That is what the future looks like. And this is exactly the type of stuff people should pay attention to. They should be upset about it. But of course, instead, when you bring people into the left-right paradigm and you get them taking sides between Gaza and Palestine and Israel, and then they hear the story about how one side censored, they cheer for it. Because again, they've been conditioned into that, which is one of the biggest things I warned about years ago with the censorship. I warned all the trolls who were censoring my channel. I warned all those people. I said, don't censor, just turn it off because it's gonna go both ways. It's gonna seesaw. When they flip sides of who's in power, it's gonna go the opposite direction. That's what we're seeing now. So now we're seeing people censored who aren't allowed to send anything out that's speaking against Israel, right? Speaking pro-Palestine. The government is stopping. I mean, Microsoft, wink, wink, is blocking them from sending it. So this is the story for anyone out there that hasn't seen it. And it's very important to pay attention to because this is exactly what's coming when it comes to the Great Firewall.
A pro-Palestinian group of Microsoft workers claims the company is blocking internal emails containing certain words. The group, No Azure for Apartheid, says those words include Palestine, Gaza, apartheid, and genocide. Microsoft sent us a statement saying in part, quote, over the past couple of days, a number of emails have been sent to tens of thousands of employees across the company, and we have taken measures to try and reduce those emails to those that have not opted in. This week, Microsoft fired an employee who interrupted the CEO's speech at an event. That worker claimed the Israeli military is using Microsoft's AI technology. Last month, 2 engineers who protested at events for the company's 50th anniversary were also fired.
So these Microsoft employees are concerned that their internal message boards are being blocked by Microsoft. Their emails with the word Israel may go through, but not the word Palestine, as well as Gaza and some of the other terms that are used. This is the future. This is the future. The future goes way past the turmoil in the Middle East. The future goes to you questioning tyranny, you questioning censorship, you questioning carbon tax, you questioning universal basic income. And your communication is going to be disabled by Big Brother. So you won't be able to communicate. Then you think about 1984, right? For anyone out there that doesn't remember 1984, the book, the movie, if you've seen it, the only way they were able to actually communicate is if they were able to somehow get outside of the cities and get into the woods. But even in there, they weren't able to do it because the drone surveillance was flying around. And they made it so there was basically no way to communicate. Now, maybe we'll go back to snail mail. I wish. Maybe we could just go back to writing messages in a bottle. But unfortunately, we can't because society is too addicted to the technology. And the more addicted they become, the more control the government gets. So the employees at Microsoft said they started noticing the changes last week. And again, the story itself is a conditioning mechanism to get you prepared for this type of reality. They watch and they see. Are people going to unite together? Are the pro-Israel people going to say, hey, Microsoft shouldn't do that. They shouldn't be blocking these people. They still should be allowed to speak freely about Palestine and Gaza and whatever they feel. That's what they're doing is testing. They test to see, will the people unite together and say, hey, wait a minute. I might not agree with this person's opinion on Gaza, but they have every right to say what they want to say. They're allowed to communicate about it. And because of what they've done over the last 8 years or so with censorship and how bad they gave it to conservatives and and how bad they gave it to Christians and how bad they gave it to conspiracy theorists, right? Obviously, I know firsthand, but I'm still here speaking. But because of how bad it was, those same people who were censored are pointing and looking at the people on the other side because they know all emails coming out supporting Gaza are coming from Democrats. And what are they doing? They're going, good. You get what you deserve. You shouldn't be pro-Palestine. You shouldn't be pro-Gaza. Censor them. And that's how we cancel one another out. Now, for anyone out there that hasn't seen how China's firewall looks, let me show you some clips here of China's firewall. And this is what they're going to be bringing in here and around the earth with AI governance. The algorithms themselves will be able to censor speech. The algorithms themselves will be able to censor history. They'll be able to censor all things that are controlled on the internet, not as if they already don't, but we know that there's still some freedom online, but the future is no freedom online.
If you have ever been to China, you may have experienced a lack of access to the same websites you love and enjoy around the rest of the world. Websites such as Google, YouTube, and Facebook are either blocked completely or slowed to a crawl and throttled to an almost unusable state. Known as the Great Firewall of China, this censorship engine allows the Chinese government to regulate the internet and protect its citizens from dangerous content, or at least that's what they claim. China even bans more whimsical items on the internet such as Winnie the Pooh. Yes, that's right, Winnie the Pooh. Who could possibly be afraid of Winnie the Pooh? The Chinese government, apparently. This all started in 2013 when an image of Xi Jinping and then President Barack Obama spurred comparisons of the president's look to that of Winnie the Pooh, and the memes started flowing. This must have really gotten under Xi's skin because as the popularity of the memes grew and spread online, Chinese censors began picking up the images and erasing them, and thus banning poor Winnie the Pooh from all of China. Other, more serious topics are suppressed from the Chinese internet, such as the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. This pro-democracy protest, in which an estimated 10,000 Chinese citizens were killed, all but doesn't exist on the Chinese internet. Just try typing in June 4th, the day of the massacre, into Google versus Baidu, a popular Chinese search engine, and see the difference. It really is quite alarming. This gives the Chinese government incredible power to shape the minds of its citizenry and prohibit content it deems unfit. Back in the 1980s, the leader of China at the time, Deng Xiaoping, reformed much of China's economy and brought forth the modern China that we know today. He knew, however, that as economic development and progress increased in China, along with it came unwanted Western beliefs and ideologies that the Chinese government did not have any interest in. As part of this economic resurgence, the internet was opened up to China in the mid-1990s, and Project Golden Shield was launched to aid in overseeing this new frontier. Soon, however, the charter of this project morphed to include mass censorship and surveillance, and ultimately, the Great Firewall of China was born. As such, Chinese firms employ thousands of workers to police their own sites and pull down content that is deemed inappropriate. These workers monitor social media sites, message boards, instant messages, and more. Additionally, the Chinese government itself is estimated to employ several 100,000 or even millions of people, according to some reports, to sift through the web and report unauthorized content while posting government propaganda.
So this is exactly what we're headed toward. That's what this entire Microsoft story is about. It's about people being censored through algorithms and then choice words, keywords, triggering bounce backs, triggering all forms of communication that the government would deem dangerous, triggering them not to even go through. So we're not even talking about arrests coming. We're not even talking about the state coming to your door because you're texting or emailing somebody about how the government has gone rogue or how the government is trying to force vaccination or any of those types of things. We're just talking about you not even be able to communicate, because if everything goes online, and we go back to some of the things that we've seen, which is what, everything is headed towards the digital realm. Right? Physical interaction is, because of what happened with COVID, partially, is becoming rarer and rarer. Think about how much more people do stuff on their phones versus before COVID. That was one of the big components of it, was getting older people to FaceTime. Now, how many people go, oh, I'm sick. Well, why don't we just FaceTime? I don't need to come over for your birthday. I don't need to come over to see you. Oh, you're dating, you're dating AI? I don't like humans there. Everything done digitally means all communications controlled digitally. And that's the fear most people should have. And I'm not saying to live in fear, but that's what we're headed towards. And the more we allow them to imprison us in our home, the more we allow them to take away our rights. And then when the carbon tax is implemented, and you're not allowed to freely move around and go places as often, and then say they throw in another pandemic, which we know they have planned, then you're talking about full-on control of thoughts, speech, movements, all of it. And this is a huge mechanism in it. This is a test run. Okay, we know stories like this don't go national unless they want them out there. But they want it out there because they want to see how people respond, finding out that Microsoft employees, so what do you get? Okay, automatically when people hear Microsoft, yes, they think of Bill Gates, and then they'll think, oh, they're probably Democrats, probably big tech libs, right? Oh, and look at them getting censored in their emails. Good, because I disagree with what they're saying to one another. I disagree with what they think, and I disagree with their political ideologies. And if they see people on board and they see people saying, yeah, screw them, take away their speech, they can continue to move forward with this machine. That's what these are done. They're like beta test runs. They throw these things out there to see how you respond. What are you writing on Twitter about it? What are people saying on the internet about it? And you'll see the conservatives are laughing about it, right? The Ben Shapiro, good. They shouldn't be supporting Gaza and Palestine. They shouldn't be saying that. So that's misinformation, genocide. Those types of things are misinformation, right? And that's how you turn both sides against each other. You take total control. It's a seesaw. It's a tug of war with both sides canceling one another out. So the future is just like China. It is a great firewall of control. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.